Okay, hi there. So I'm here to speak about French immersion at Eastlake School. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Glennis Sinclair. I've been a teacher at it for French immersion in Chestermere since 2012. Actually, this year is a milestone year for our French immersion program. Our first kindergarten class that started at Prairie Waters will be graduating high school this year. So that's how long the program has been around for. I am an FI student myself. I attended late French immersion at Branton Junior High in Calgary, and I'm really passionate about the program and especially its inclusion in Chestermere and at Rocky View schools. So, just a brief agenda about what I'm going to be speaking about, talk about what French immersion is, what are some benefits, have some examples of student work and their progress, talk about the celebration of learning in May and June, some frequently asked questions about French immersion, and I'm going to share some parent resources with you. So, what is the French immersion program? French immersion programs are designed to provide non Francophone students or non Francophone children with a high degree of proficiency in the French language. So, they're specifically designed for families, for children that aren't coming from French speaking homes. Early French immersion has two entry points, kindergarten and grade one. So the kids can either start in kindergarten or can begin the French immersion program in grade one. The idea of French immersion is that students are fully immersed in the language until grade three. This means that all subjects are taught in French, including math, language arts, science, social studies, health, etc. That way, students learn to understand, read, and converse in French, both with their teacher and with their fellow classmates. English literacy instruction, language arts, begins in grade three. What are some of the benefits of FI? Well, there are many, but I'm just going to try to go over some briefly with you. So, French immersion increases appreciation of other languages and cultures as well as their own. So, they really get a sense of um, different cultures, both in Canada and abroad, by learning French immersion. It also helps them understand and learn other languages beyond French. So, if we think of the Mediterranean languages like Italian and Spanish, a lot of the root words share similar stems as the French language. Students become more flexible thinkers and develop superior listening skills. Definitely to be able to succeed in French, you need to be listening really intently so you can understand what's going on and absorb that vocabulary. And sometimes you have to learn to express yourself in different ways so that you can stay using that target language. French immersion students, because of these listening skills and the flexible thinking, find they often meet or exceed English program students' performance in mathematics. And learning a second language also has a positive effect on your first language skills. So French actually improves your English language skills. By the end of elementary school, students in immersion often outperform those in the regular English program, I should say, on tests and literacy. Students gain self confidence, better social skills, and they show a real pride in their abilities. Um, being a French immersion student is really it's a really close knit community, and it fosters a real sense of friendship and relationships between the French immersion students. They are very accepting of each other, and they build meaningful friendships, long lasting friendships. It also has a positive impact on their intellectual growth and cognitive development. So learning a second language builds and strengthens neural pathways and connections, and has even been shown to protect against dementia later in life. No, we're not necessarily thinking about that right now for our elementary age kids, but it's always good to take the long view of things. Learning French can provide your child with unique lifelong opportunities. I think this is what people often think about when they think about French immersion. And it's certainly true. It does open doors in terms of education, such as university and college, and also jobs. There's a high demand for bilingual staff across all sectors and across, all areas of both Canada and abroad. It's much easier to learn a new language starting at a young age. And then even if we're taking the shorter view of things, students will be able to challenge core French or option French in high school to increase their overall average for things like scholarships or university entry. And then they'll be able to challenge the FSL 10, 20, and 30. So here are some examples of some of the work that the grade ones have been doing. They made some bonhomme de neige or snowmen out of salt dough. And we can really see the vocabulary building. So we see, these label drawings of un gant, un flocon de neige. We see these sentences, mon bonhomme de neige a un chapeau, mon bonhomme de neige a un foulard. So they're starting their sentence structure, the simple sentence structure, but also by building their vocabulary to be able to speak and to write in French. Okay, so now we're moving on to grade 3. You can see that vocabulary has become even more developed. Students are writing in paragraph form. They have their verbs there. And, here, this was our winter carnival. So learning a little bit more about the Quebec culture. This was actually an opportunity that was available for the whole school, both English and French programs. And in the bottom corner here, we can see the kids learning about animal life cycles in French. So even in science, we front load that French vocabulary, and then we learn, just like any of the English classes would, about the concepts in science. All right, so this is 4th grade, 4e année. So we have a newspaper article. Now we can even see, a larger vocabulary set, more complicated sentences. You can see the accords for, for nouns and adjectives and verbs. And we also see, that verb conjugation and learning about different expressions in French. So this is Maya. She's gonna tell us about her project. So
les traditions. Tradition, the nourriture, et les activités. Ici, this is the souhaite. Ici, ça c'est le.
Okay, so it was really great to hear Maya's enthusiasm to show off her project, speak in French, all the words that she's learned, all the words she's able to use. I really like that video. Now we're listening to Liam, and he's going to be reading us his story in French.
C'était une fois un lutin qui s'appelle Jimmy. Jimmy a la peau blanche, il a des cheveux blancs et des yeux rouges. Il prend un manteau vert qui est petit. Il porte aussi un foulard jaune.
Okay, so it's neat to see that the progression from, again, a bonhomme de neige in grade 1 to now writing a whole story about a snowman in grade 4 and being able to read it out loud. It's pretty neat. Okay, so now our celebration of learning. So where can I see my child's progress in French? I know they're learning French. Where can I see it? Biggest place is probably the My Blueprint platform, where we can see photos, videos like the ones we just looked at, and reflections on students' French learning. Really encourage students to take videos and explain their learning in French using that target language is so important. You can also follow us on Twitter. We have a handle, Eastlake FI, where different teachers are sharing things that are going on in their classes. Celebration of Learning will be happening in May or June. Hopefully everybody will be able to come into the school. So the idea of Celebration of Learning is students show off or show off what they're proud of, their work to their families, emphasizing their progress over the years. That might take the form of a play of the class together, might take form of like individual projects or some poems, something like that. Just to give you a little taste of what that might look like, this is a video of a whole bunch of different grade levels singing together in French. So I really love that video because that was a time when we could all get together and the different siblings at different levels could help each other learning their French, getting excited, showing that enthusiasm and that really that community building that we, pride ourselves in. All right, so some frequently asked questions about French or about French immersion. Does my child need to be above average academically to succeed in French immersion? Our emphatic answer is no. Students have shown that diverse learners in FI perform at the same level as diverse learners in the English program on academic achievement tests. There are many diverse learners in Eastlake, including ELL students, and we firmly believe that all types of learners can succeed in French immersion. As with individualized supports, etc., in place and support from parents, everybody can succeed in FI, regardless of their academic level. Will an immersion program have an adverse effect on my child's English language skills? We find that learners can add a second language to no cost to their English skills because learned skills are applicable across languages. In fact, FI students match and often surpass English program students' performance by the end of elementary. So we need to keep in mind that they don't actually start formalized English instruction until grade 3. So it does take a little bit of time for them to catch up, but once they do, we find they may even surpass their English counterparts. How much does it cost? So you may think that this is a specialized program and it costs extra, but it's the same as usual school fees. In fact, busing fees are covered if they're required. So if your family lives in a different area of Chestermere, like Rainbow Creek or over by Prairie Waters or in Langdon, the busing fees are actually covered to come and attend at Eastlake. So how can I help my child? I don't speak French. This one comes up a lot. Actually, my parents also, they were not French speakers, so they were not able to help me. And, things can work out just fine. FI teachers know that many parents don't understand the target language, and that's okay. They know that. So the best way you can help is by being supportive, enthusiastic about your child's learning. And also remembering skills are transferable. So if you're reading to your child in English or whatever your language is at home, you can encourage English writing. You can encourage English language game like word searches, Scrabble, Bobble, and maybe even providing opportunities to use French outside the school, like going to visit the public library and borrowing some books in French, finding some apps that the kids can play and learn online, watching French movies or TV with English subtitles. It's totally fine. And maybe even working towards exposing your child to some second language events, activities, and even maybe a holiday where they'd be able to use their skills. Right, so just want to share some resources here. So the Canadian Parents for French. This is actually a cross Canada initiative. This is the Alberta chapter. What I like about this website is that it shows some different events that are going on, contests, lessons for parents to learn some French, French family weekends. So you can and it also has some resources for parents. A lot of the information I got for this presentation tonight was on this website. All right, another one. So here's some resources to help your child at home. There is a list of resources here. It explains what strand skill it helps out with. EDAO, this is a website that I was able to join for free and find some books on in French, like online books in French. But I want to highlight this literacy center because I know many of the parents that may be listening to this presentation are kindergarten or in grade 1. So this one, you can actually have the letters and numbers, colors read to you in French so you can help your child with those kind of foundational skills. And last but not least, forvo.com. This is a great site if you're curious about how to pronounce a certain word that you read in a book or maybe in homework. You can type the word in here and you'll get different pronunciations from native French speakers, both in France and in Quebec, both female and male. So it gives you an idea of what the words sound like. Great, and that's all I have for you tonight, or whenever you should be listening to this presentation. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about our French immersion program. We are all, very keen to let everyone know what a great program it is. And yeah, we take care. We hope to see your child in French immersion. Merci et au revoir.